Yeah, I grew up in a Christian household where I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Right.
I am a mover. I'm a shaker. I'm more than a conqueror.
Nick, I'm about to go there.
I'm just
you
telling
are
you,
not about to gaslight Christ.
I'm not.
Stop, Nick.
I'm not.
Because you grew up in a household.
The Christ in me lets me know that I am anointed. What is
you can
Christ?
Do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
I am anointed.
You took that.
When I walk in a room,
went overboard.
I am a light.
You cannot gaslight Jesus Christ because he told you that, and now you're telling him because he told you that.
I am all these things.
You're the king, and you miss the narcissism. No,
abundance.
No, you cannot do that. No,
I'm doing it. I'm owning it. I'm walking.
Don't gaslight him.
In the kingdom that I am.
Christ gave his life. That's the most unselfish thing you can do.
100%.
So you cannot.
And I will give my life for mine.
You cannot.
I will die on the cross for my kids.
Narcissism, whose extreme selfishness and self-centered. Not saying that's what you are, but that's narcissism.
Yeah.
And Christ, who said I could do all things through him.
There's a self-importance in me. I believe I am not ordinary. I am extraordinary. I am the head and not the tail. So why did you just gaslight Christ? Answer that question. I'm telling you, you said I did that. I'm quoting scripture.
Y'all, he just gaslight Christ and said the reason why it's okay for him to be narcissistic. Hold on, Nick. Okay. He gaslight Christ and said because he was taught he can do all things through Christ that strengthens him.
Absolutely.
Is the reason why everything can be about him. Is the reason why everything can be world revolving around him and no one else matters. That is not
I
the
never said no one
Christ,
else matters. You put words in my mouth.
That is not what Christ has said. And y'all don't allow him to gaslight Christ with that, okay?
We'll take I apologize if you believe I have gaslit Christ, because that is not what.
All right, so what do you think about what she accused Nick of doing? I assume before this he was kind of saying, he feels like he's more important, there's something special about him, that kind of thing. I think a lot of people have that mindset that God made them special. I think all of us have probably had it at one point or another. Is that wrong? Is that are we gaslighting Christ by basically saying that, well, he made me more than a conqueror? We claim all these things about ourselves that we're really more about him.
What he did was wrong. I mean, because he's given himself glory. He's given himself honor. He's given himself praise. He's not coming at it from a humble standpoint. So yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with that. Him saying he would die on the cross for his kids, like that was wild. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to give your life for Christ and not your kids. Like your whole thing is, I'm not dying on the cross for my kids.
If you had to,
God already did that for me.
Yeah, but I think the point is, would you die for your kids? That's the point.
I mean, yeah, of course you would, but the way he said it, he put himself in like a Christ-like, manner.
Comparing it, it's the same. Yeah,
that's one of the most grossly misinterpreted scriptures in biblical history. That I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like, people don't read the scripture before that when he says, I learned how to be a base, I learned how to abound.
Yeah.
Like, so he pretty much saying in that scripture, like, whether I have a little or whether I have a lot, I can do all things. I can be content regardless of what situation God puts me in.
Right.
But it's just like a human being. We want praise so much. We'll take a scripture and we'll just form every scripture to make ourselves be the star of the story. Like you look at David and Goliath, we David slaying the giant. No, we're not. We're the Israelites who scared behind the scenes of the giant, and Christ had to come save us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always want to be the hero in the story, and we're not. If it's a hero in the story, it's going to be Jesus. Like, we're the ones that's always getting saved. So it's just like a human being. We want to make ourselves more superior and have more authority and do these different things. And we take these scriptures out of context. If God pronounced you righteous when you weren't righteous, like, you should be humble. You should be thankful. You should be gracious. You shouldn't try to take yourself to the mountaintop and make yourself the key figure in any kind of scripture that you're reading.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because I think Nick believes his mindset has gotten him to where he is. Yeah. So what do you tell somebody that feels like, no, this mentality has been helpful for me to believe that there's something special about me, that God made me extra special than other people?
He said a bunch of things like, I'm anointed. When I walk in the room, I am the light. Like, that stuff is, you're famous, right? So you draw attention but you don't draw the light of Christ necessarily. You draw light from people's eyes gleaming on you because you are who you are. But yeah, a lot of things that he said was they were cringe. They were making me cringe.
I don't know if he's super wrong about what he thinks. I think God gives people certain special gifts that make them stand out in different ways. So God obviously made him to stand out. Mm-hmm. Like he attracts attention, like you said. Mm-hmm. The point though is whatever attention that God naturally allowed you to attract. Yeah. I mean, it's clear that God made certain people beautiful on purpose. Made some people, leaders on purpose. Like there's people who attract attention not by accident. It's a gift, right? But the whole point of it is that gift should be 100% focused on giving him glory.
Yeah.
I don't know if Nick is ready to commit his entire life to giving God glory. And I think he wants to get some too. And I don't know if he would admit to that if he was sitting right here. Hopefully one day we can talk to him. But it seems as though if God put you in that spot and you realize that you're a child of God and you're starting to realize that, hey, he wants more from me. If you don't look at your life and say that this whole thing is just to bring, not an addition. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tag along God with me. Mm-hmm. This whole reason I'm famous is only to bring God glory. I don't know if I've heard that from him yet.
No, he's not. And I think you see the start of it if you even go back to the whole reason that it's been said that him and Mariah even got a divorce. It was because he couldn't really live in her shadow. Mm-hmm. He said it pretty much out of his own mouth. And with the lady, I didn't hear the whole interview, but she's saying basically she accuses him of narcissism a lot. Mm-hmm. And there's no way that a narcissist is going to be able to give God all the glory.
Oh, sure.
Obviously, yeah, I agree that he probably does believe some of those things he's saying, and he does have the gift and the talent and, track people, but we're supposed to be like a city on a hill, right? Mm-hmm. Let your light shine so that you can point them back to the Father. Mm-hmm. Basically, and Nick, with his religious beliefs, he definitely not there. No. He believed like a whole lot of mixture of a whole lot.
Just
of
like with the devil, though. The devil,
a little bit of truth.
When you see how he was described in Scripture, he had all these different stones and different things, and what he was doing was reflecting the light of God. You know what I'm saying? He was a reflection of the Father. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't handle just being a reflection, so he wanted to be the one getting all the acknowledgement.
Right.
So what you see is a lot of people here who have gifts and talents and abilities who supposed to, like Sean was saying, get our talents and our abilities and reflect the light, reflect the plays and the light back to the Father. They want to take it all in. That's the initial sin. You know what I'm saying? That's what the devil did. He wanted to get all the praise. Yeah. So you see a lot of people following that same thing without realizing. If you say, hey, man, you following the devil? No, I ain't following the devil, but you're doing exactly what he was doing. You want praise.
And misusing the scriptures.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And twisting the scripture. You're giving me 99% truth with 1% lie. But that 1% enough to send me in the wrong direction.
I think especially if you guys, where we have artists in the room, we have people that are on stage a lot, it is something that you have to constantly, and this is something I'm talking to myself as well, you have to constantly monitor your heart to make sure you're not falling into what Nick is. This is not a Nick problem. This is an all of us problem.
Human
He's just saying things out loud that you've probably felt yourself, that there's something special about you. God made you special, like you're unique in a certain way that above all other people. You're supposed to be where you are. You're actually supposed to be further than where you are. That idea, if you're honest, everybody has that feeling, especially artists. When you sit down, you writing, you like, yo, I'm the this and I'm the that. You even Christians,
that's true.
Christian artists, me, I've written down stuff like, yo, y'all ain't this and y'all ain't like that and this and we the best at this.
Yeah.
Like that's your natural heart tendency is to brag about yourself. Yeah, you have to check your heart and say, that is a lie. Mm-hmm. Anything that you deem as special about you is a shadow of how special God is.
Yeah.
None of it belongs to you. He is lending any kind of specialness out. And your specialness is not better than anybody else's specialness. Everybody has specialness. Even if it's not public, even if it's not seen, the quiet person in the corner that sweeps the floor is special in God's eyes and has a specific call on his life that is special. It's not worse than yours.
Right.
I think we just got to get that out of our head. Right. You have to check your heart. As I'm talking, as we do all this stuff with lights and I'm talking to myself. Yeah. We have to make sure we don't develop this mentality. It's dangerous. Yeah. And I'm just grateful Nick is willing to say what he really believes because this whole topic is not to get on Nick. It's like, thank you for saying out loud what my heart says to me all the time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's real.
I think I've gone through this and I've actually had a whitewashing of it. I felt like it was too easy for me to get into the doors at 107.9 and Radio 1. Like it was like I was talking to somebody. They told me about an internship. The next week I'm there. I'm in front of 40 other interns that are applying at the same time, and I'm the only one that gets picked, right? Yeah. I never took for granted that was something that I did. I always gave God the glory. But then I also remember when I had to give it back. And when I gave it back, we started this show. And when I gave it back, it was tough. I went from being able to, pretty much, walk into a nightclub and have a VIP section. And I didn't even need that kind of stuff. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't entertaining girls. It was just an opportunity for me to be there and learn something, right? I had lessons that I learned from all of that. But when I gave it back, I remember probably having a conversation with you and being on my couch feeling like it was over. Like, what else is there? Like, I lost everything that I had worked for the last 7 years. I got laid off with the recession in 2008. What else is there? I'm going back to just doing a regular job. And I mean, then we started this and I was like, okay, the feeling of doing something for God and promoting the kingdom felt way better than what we were doing at Radio 1.
Yeah, but the caution is even to the people that are doing it for God. Sometimes even as Christian hip-hop artists and Christian radio stations and Christian thises and Christian that's, we can develop a pride in that as well, where you think that your success is due to you some kind of way versus it being God needing you for whatever purpose. He could take it away just like you didn't cause it. He caused you to cause it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a caution to your own heart. This is not about pointing it to anybody else or whoever you're thinking about in your head. That's not what it's about. You. This is about all of us asking ourselves that question. Yeah. Do we have this same Nick mentality and not realize it?
I want to give Rando a chance to answer that question, right? Because he's young. He's followed in his father's footsteps of becoming a rapper. And you just mentioned that you did a show at your school, right? Right. This is your first year, your first semester. Yeah. What was it like to do a show like that and have people looking at you, knowing that you were just like fresh on the scene?
So I was initially really nervous because it was like outside and it wasn't like really a crowd thing. It was just like people just watching me doing it. But after the show, I was getting like, everybody was like congratulating me, like, oh yeah, you did really good and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And I was actually just thinking about it because he done told me a million times that not to be prideful and be careful. I guess I still like, I mean, I try not to be, but I still gotta find like where the line is between like you being confident and you just
there you go. There you go. That's it.
Yeah, it's a sneaky line because that no matter what anybody says, if you get off a stage and somebody's like, "Yo, you killed it, man," that feels good.
And don't hit him with the false humility. Oh, please God.
You know what I'm saying?
Good and well.
No, thank you, brother. Thank you. We appreciate it. No, it's like that feels good, regardless of how you try to couch it in your heart.
Every time.
What do you do with it? What do you do with it? Like, because you could do the Christian thing. Oh yeah, it's all God. You know what I mean? But
in your heart,
could do it outside, like, but inside it's like, yeah, I got it.
I think I'm the only one at this table that can't answer what that feels.
You've been
like,
on
right?
stages. You've
been on stages, but we've never had
a good job.
No, people have.
I've seen it.
We've never hosted a conference or.
We've hosted things and gotten off stage, and people say, "Good job, Ryan."
Good job on not messing up a line. I mean, that's about it. Like, all you're doing is reading from a piece of paper.
You've experienced this, is what we're saying.
Now, you know.
You got good jobs from the beat battle. You killed that.
You said good job on organizing the beat battle. Yeah, that's not like I did a good job doing anything else. It was, I let the team
You've gotten the compliment.
This is the opposite of what I'm talking about.
I didn't
do anything good.
Yeah.
I didn't do nothing.
Right now.
That's pride too.
I mean, I look at it as a team effort. Camille laid the foundation when we did the very first beat battle. I took over, just not to put too much on her plate for everything else she does for us, and just decided like, okay, we're just gonna listen to beats. We're gonna.
But the point is, you know what it feels like getting off a stage, somebody saying good job, and it feeling good in your heart. You do.
Speeches, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, what's the next thing?